Sergeant, before the break I was referring to your body-worn video footage, which you explained you did turn on, but not until a point where the gentleman on the ground was being arrested. Is that right? When Mr. Walker was being
I think
arrested.
that's how it worked out, yep.
We'll just play that now. Thanks, Beck.
I don't know if the witness has got screened.
Oh, there it is.
The sound will come on shortly.
Why is he bleeding?
I want to speak to my lawyer. Where are you bleeding from? Why did you do that? Do what? I want to speak to my lawyer. Now, why did you do that? Do what? I want to speak to my lawyer. He's banging against the rock. Oh, and he's kicking me in the dick. No one's kicking me in the dick.
You're on your stomach, no one's kicking you in the dick.
No.
Where are they?
I want to speak to my lawyer, brother. You can speak to your lawyer. Why did you do that to me? Why you did that to me, brother? Brother, I know you. I make you jealous. But why did you hit me against the rock?
What the fuck?
I'm bleeding.
You've got a camera on.
Yeah. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. I need to speak ambulance. I need to see ambulance. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding.
Stand up.
Why are you doing this? I know I'm making you jealous. But why you guys need to do this to me? I want a young fella.
It's not happened to you before. You hit on rocks.
I seen you. I know. I felt what you
Hit on
done.
rocks.
I felt what you done, brother.
Before we went into
I felt what you done. My lawyer. Okay. My lawyer. I see my lawyer.
There's no boy around here.
What you done? You must be getting jealous. But I'm stepping run.
Stop it, man. There's no one watching.
I didn't see my lawyer. Brother.
No, not yet.
Why are you being like that to me, brother? I thought you were nice.
when you fall in the dirt.
I thought you were nice.
Don't knock up at him. Don't steer on him. Don't bleed on him.
I'm sorry.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
What's your name?
Stand up. Oh, what, you gotta stand up, man.
Well, you would be. You've been running from us for a bit.
And he fell over.
Just stand up, man.
I got hit by a rock.
You got hit by a rock. You probably got hit by lots of rocks.
Stand up.
My glasses have fallen off again. I'm dizzy. Oh, yeah, it was on time.
You lost your side.
Ah, fucking ass. Oh, you got that.
You got that?
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, oh, no, it was. Oh, that's not from him.
No, I got barbed wire.
Thanks. You activated your body-worn video to capture the arrest of Mr. Walker, is that right?
Correct.
You activated. Do you agree that it's important to have an objective record of an arrest that's created by the body-worn video footage?
Yep, correct.
So it's important, isn't it, to turn it on as often as you can when you're affecting your police powers, barring some exceptional circumstances?
Correct.
Because it gives you an objective account of what occurred.
Yep.
You don't have to rely on he said, she said.
Yep.
And was that the message that you imparted to all of the people in your patrol group, that was important to use your body-worn video?
Yeah, you'd remind. It became a disciplinary thing that if you didn't turn your camera on, that you could get in trouble.
And did you regard that as something that was important and worthwhile, that is having the body-worn video, or did you regard it as a pain?
No, I thought it was great. Camera was great.
And that's the message that you imparted to staff working with you, is it? That it was a good thing, worthwhile?
And the other, and it was also punitive. If you don't, you're going to start getting in trouble.
can hear yourself in that video. Is it you that explains to people, to other officers, that you've got your body worn video on?
Yep.
You've turned it on? Why did you do that?
Sometimes people come along and say things that, like, it might be inappropriate at that time. So you just say, camera's on.
So you're warning your other officers that the camera's on, it's going to
Well,
record
most of them
anything.
know, but just so that someone doesn't say something.
You agree, don't you, that the lighting around there is pretty good? There's a fair bit of street lighting we can see on the body worn video.
Yep.
And it's a rocky area, correct? You filled out, I withdraw that, there was a supervisor for the use of force who was Alistair Gall, who signed off on
Correct.
this, is that right? Was there a reason you didn't?
I was involved.
So you provided an explanation to Officer Gall as to the circumstances, is that right?
Must have, yeah, correct.
And the use of force entry that's available in Court 3-82A, against your name, it says body worn video, Kirkby, activated, recorded Rolf arresting Walker. You've read that recently?
The comments from Gall?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I did.
And that would have been based on what you, on his review of the body worn video, are you
Of the-
imagine? Did you also speak to Officer Gall about it?
I don't know.
There's nothing against your name as to a reason why you didn't activate your body worn video until the point of arrest. Do you agree?
I don't know.
Well, you've read it recently, the use of force account.
There was something about from Alistair Gall, who was the senior.
Yes.
So he was the watch commander. So I did read what he wrote.
I'll just show you a copy of it. Is it customary? Thanks. Is it customary for a use of force account to speak to the officers who were involved when you're a supervisor and you fill it out? Sergeant? Is it part of the process of
For me to
review?
speak to Alistair Gall?
Yes.
No, well, I don't have to speak to him. Do the use of force, you add a task, you send that task, it goes to that person.
So you could base it, that person could base it solely on review of the body worn video, is
Body
that right?
worn and the statement and the file.
Body worn and the statement of officers involved, is that
Yep.
right? So you would have done a statement in relation to this arrest?
I was asked to look for one, I couldn't find one.
Do you have any recollection that you would have spoken to Officer Gall?
I would have, I imagine I was in the next office.
And if you have a look, please, at that document, at page 4, you see there a case note summary with the name Alistair Gall at the top.
Yep.
And the last section deals with body worn video, and it says Kirkby activated, recorded Rolf arresting Walker.
Yep.
Is there anything else there provided by way of explanation in relation to your use of body worn on that day?
No, it just says activated.
There's nothing there about you not activating till late because you didn't want the light on your camera to give away any position. You agree?
No. Is this from Alistair Gall?
That's right.
Nope.
I suggest to you that you activated the reason you activated your camera late had nothing to do with not giving away your position.
Sorry, can you...
At the time of this incident, around April 2019, you never suggested to anybody that you activated your body worn video late. Is that right? You never gave an explanation to anybody about that.
I don't know, I haven't read it.
If you did give an explanation to anybody about that, do you agree that there's nothing on this record that suggests you were thinking that the light on your camera might give away your position?
That's what we thought.
When
But
you say that's what we thought, that's not what you thought.
That's what well, I was with, we were there.
But in terms of your body worn video footage,
Yeah.
there's nothing in this explanation that suggests you didn't turn your light on or your camera on because you didn't want the light to give away your position.
No, there's nothing written about that.
And in fact, what is written there is something by Constable Rolf, initially activated but then deactivated when Rolf began pursuing. His reason being that the light on the camera would give away his position to Walker. Is that why you say we did certain things? Because you've read that in this note?
No, well, obviously I didn't turn my camera on until that stage. The lighting was reasonably good there, the street lighting, but he's come from out of the darkness.
You know that there was a PSC in relation to this involving Constable Rolf? Are you aware of that?
I'm not sure.
Are you aware that, see if I can refresh your memory, are you aware that the PSC did not accept the explanation given by Constable Rolfe as to why he turned his light, didn't have his body worn video on?
No, I was aware that someone in the Ombudsman's office, Ombudsman's, I'll get there eventually, said they didn't accept the explanation about not having torches and lights, and that I think that would have been later on, a little bit later on. I don't know what time frame.
The report from the PSC was provided by Virginia Reid. Was it provided to you?
I don't know. I think possibly the other day was the first time I'd found that there was no adverse findings about me. No one had told me that.
Were you provided with any explanation as to whether there was any adverse findings about one of your patrol members, Constable Rolfe, at any time before now?
No, I can't remember. Like I said, the Ombudsman's office had said something about they didn't accept the explanation.
Are you now aware, as a result of preparing for this inquest, that the PSC didn't accept the explanation that Constable Rolfe gave, that he turned the light on, that he turned the camera off because he didn't want to give away his position to Walker?
But I'm struggling to remember like the ins and outs, but I don't know what we talked about. That's where we were, and neither of us had it on. Neither of us had torches.
Well, Hirona can see the street lighting for herself, but you can see the street lighting on that body-worn video footage, can't you? And you can see the rocky ground underneath that would make a noise when somebody ran on it. Is that right? It's a rocky area there, isn't it?
It's Anzac Hill.
Yeah. There's rocks there, isn't there?
There's rocks.
And it's pretty noisy when somebody's running on it, isn't it? I'm going to suggest to you it's going to give your position away if you're running on that area towards a suspect. The suspect's going to know you're there if you're running towards them, aren't they?
But they're not going to know that we're there if we're not running towards them. So obviously he's come into sight and then we've started running.
I'll ask you a question about your body-worn video and the use of it at that time.
Yeah.
In your statement, you say in paragraph 17, I have never heard of any member turning off a camera deliberately to avoid capturing an incident. Is that right? Is that the truth?
When I wrote that, that was correct.
Is that still
Well, you've
correct?
just told me that he's turned his off there, so, but I didn't.
Have you ever heard of any member turning off a camera deliberately to avoid capturing an incident?
No.
Have you ever heard of any pushback in the station about using your body-worn video footage?
No.
Have you ever heard of any police officer playing up for the film, turning it on, making it seem like something was more serious than it was?
Yes, that text.
Well, with the text aside, have you ever heard of any police officer doing that?
No.
You've got a copy of MFIRR. If not, I'm going to ask that you be provided with one. Have a look at the first two text messages, 22 June 2019. Sergeant Kirkby to Sergeant Rolfe. Hope you've got your body worn on. Constable Rolfe. Hope you've got your body worn on. And Constable Rolfe replies to you, ha ha, on the whole time. What were you talking about there?
No idea.
Have a look, please, at page 2. Constable Rolfe to Sergeant Kirkby on the 3rd of September 2019. I'll go back a step. You send a text message to Constable Rolfe on that day, the 3rd of September. Sorry about the stress caused by losing my shit the other night. Stress you didn't need. You sorted it well. I just had enough. He was the second person to press my button that night. When did you lose? What did you mean by losing your shit?
I don't know.
You remember that it was obviously a police job, correct?
I think I might know it. I'm not 100% sure. Possibly at trucking yard, and I don't know what the job was, how I've got called there, but I've ended up there and in a foot chase. I don't know what the offending was or what had been reported. Well, I can't remember.
Did you turn your body worn video on for the foot chase?
I don't know.
It was you used police powers, presumably, if you were doing foot chase. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
effect an arrest on that night?
I don't think he was arrested.
What makes you think that when I ask you about when you were losing your shit, it was about that incident at the trucking yard?
Because I got the text and I was trying to think what it was.
What happened at the trucking yard where you were losing your shit?
I think we were just shouting at each other.
Who was shouting at each other?
I was shouting at him, the chap.
Was that an Aboriginal person?
Yeah, it would be trucking yards, yes.
And what were they alleged to be doing?
Well, I don't know what the job was.
Why were you chasing them?
I think kind of assuming that he fit the description. I remember calling out to someone and he's walked off. So I've walked around and then he started running, I started running. We've jumped a couple of fences.
And then what happened?
I kind of not really tackled him, but I've grabbed him as we're running.
And then what happened?
We crashed into a shed.
And then what happened?
I think it was. I can't remember the conversation. I remember shouting. He was shouting at me, calling me whatever, and I was shouting at him.
Calling
But
whatever?
well, probably why did probably something.
And Constable Rolfe was there, is that right?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of assuming that's where it was. That was the only incident I could really think of. So
If you tackled that person and you tackled him into a shed, is that right?
we've run into a shed, yeah,
Okay. Was that
like a
person-
garden shed or something.
Was that person injured?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
If you tackled him and it was into a garden shed, that was a use of force, is that right?
Yep, yeah, it would be.
If you tackled him and it was into a garden shed, is it likely that he was detained at that time?
Yep.
And is that likely to be a matter where you would have filled out a use of force incident report?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, yep.
We can't locate any use of force incident report involving you in September. Do you know when that was?
No. Oh, no.
Do you know whether any police officer had their body worn video footage turned on for that incident?
Turned
On for that incident?
I don't know.
You didn't, is that right?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know.
The reply to that text message, after you say sorry about the stress caused by losing my shit the other night, stress you didn't need, you sorted it well, I'd had enough. He was the second person to press my button that night. Constable Rolfe replies, bro, there was literally no stress about it. I'm all for that shit. I've done the same thing to you more than once before. What was he talking about there?
I don't know.
And he goes on to say, I'm always ready to make my camera face the other way and be a dramatic cunt for the film. Ha ha. And your reply is, and the Oscar goes to ... And Constable Rolfe replies, ha ha. You're laughing, aren't you, about the way that body-worn video footage can be manipulated by police to present a situation?
Yeah, it seems that way.
And Constable Rolfe was saying, I'm always ready to make my camera face the other way and be a dramatic cunt for the film. He was talking, wasn't he, about turning the camera around to face him and to pretend to have some sort of injury?
No, I don't know.
Well, what did you take him to mean?
I don't know.
Well, he was talking about acting on the film, pretending that something had happened, correct?
Yeah.
To falsify evidence that would be available later on, is that right?
To act up. I don't know.
That's the implication, isn't it? That a police officer, he as a police officer, would turn the camera to face himself, feign an injury or pretend to do something so that the evidence available to a court of law would be the acting from a police officer on that camera,
Well,
correct?
I think that question right. Not only are words and actions imported into a text message which don't find their way into the message, the only person that can answer that message, unless this officer specifically remembers its context, is Zachary Rolfe. And if there are issues that she wants to put that his counsel assists him, he's the person that should be put through.
I'm sure there will be, but this officer can be asked questions about whether he has any knowledge of that kind of behaviour.
I don't have any issue with that, Your Honour. That's not the question that's been put, and it's not the way in which the question's thrown. I have no objection to the way Your Honour just articulated it.
I'll withdraw the question. That's the first one I'll ask about this text message. In relation to the reply from Constable Rolfe, I'm always ready to make my camera face the other way and be a dramatic cunt for the film, ha ha. And your reply is, and the Oscar goes to. You understood him to mean, didn't you, that he would turn the camera around and act on it for the creation of some type of evidence for Toledo?
I don't know.
What did you think he meant by turning his camera to face the other way and being a dramatic cunt for the film?
I don't know.
Well, you replied, and the Oscar goes to. What did you mean by that?
I don't know.
Well, you meant by it, didn't you, Sergeant? Please just try and answer in a way that
I did answer. I said I don't know.
Well, I'll suggest an explanation for you and see if you agree with it. That Constable Rolfe was clearly indicating that he was prepared when he was on duty to turn his body-worn video footage and perform in a way that would suggest he might be injured or suggest some other false evidence. That's what you understood him to mean, didn't you?
No.
What did you understand him to mean?
I don't know.
Why did you think he might want to turn his camera around to face the other way?
I don't know.
Why did you say, and the Oscar goes to?
I don't know.
So do you understand that you're giving evidence and you've made a promise to tell the truth?
I do.
And that Her Honour is making an assessment of your credibility, not Constable Rolfe's, your credibility now in the witness box. You are asked to explain a text exchange that you were involved in. Constable, you're apologising for losing your shit. Constable Rolfe says, literally no stress, I'm all for that shit. I've done that to you more than once before. And then he says, I'm always ready to make my camera face the other way and be a dramatic cunt for the film, ha ha. And your reply is, and the Oscar goes to. What were you talking about?
The reply is still the same, Your Honour. I don't know.
You understood clearly that Constable Rolfe was saying to you that he was prepared to act up on the body-worn video film.
That's what it sounds like.
And you thought it was funny, what he was saying. You were in on the joke, weren't you? Well, I would draw that. Did you think he was joking?
About turning the camera, I don't know.
Did you think it was funny, what he was saying?
Well, I'll read it. Well, I said ha ha at the end, but I don't know.
I anticipate making a submission to Her Honour that this was Constable Rolfe indicating that he was prepared to falsify evidence in an event to create an impression as to what had occurred.
Well, I object to that. Not only is there no evidentiary foundation, we haven't even heard from Zachary Rolfe on this topic. How on earth can counsel assisting foreshadow what she intends to put to this coronial inquest when we haven't even heard from the person who actually created the message?
This is for procedural fairness, so I'm giving this officer an opportunity to respond. I'll ask it another way. Did it occur sorry, was there something that I missed there? Is there an objection you want to make on your feet, Mr. Edwardson?
I've made it.
Officer, I anticipate submitting to Her Honour that this is
I object to this question too, Your Honour. Put a proposition to the witness, a clear proposition,
That's what-
so he can answer.
That is what is being
But
put.
to phrase it in terms of I'm anticipating putting a submission to Your Honour is unnecessary. It doesn't assist the witness to answer the proposition that's been put. It simply should be put. It's already been put to him several times, but to phrase it in that way.
It's as a matter of fairness, let's phrase that.
Well, I beg to differ with respect, Your Honour, in terms of the way counsel assisting you going about this cross-examination, essentially.
Well, I'm happy to. She's allowed to.
I understand that.
It's not essentially, it is. It's examination, which can be in the form of cross-examination, and there's nothing improper about that in these proceedings.
As Your Honour pleases.
It's plain as day, if I can put it that way, Sergeant, if that's clearer for you. It's plain as day that Constable Rolfe is suggesting to you that he's prepared to feign something, to act up, that would give a particular impression on his body-worn video footage, correct?
That seems to be what it is.
And that was obvious to you when you received that text message, wasn't it?
Well, I can't remember getting the text. I'm reading the text message now, so I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
It must have been obvious to you in getting the text message, can I suggest to you?
Something must have been obvious to me.
You were his supervising officer, correct, for a number of jobs.
Yeah, that was September, wasn't it?
That's right. So you were his supervising officer. You would have reviewed use of force incidents in relation to Constable Rolfe, is that right?
I would have, I imagine, yeah.
And you were in a leadership role as the sergeant of his patrol group, correct?
Correct.
You were mentoring, correct, him?
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you, you were modelling behaviour for him, is that right?
Yeah, I guess.
What do you think now of the fact that when he texted that to you, your reply was, "and the Oscar goes to"? What do you think of that as a demonstration of leadership about attitude to body-worn video footage?
Well, I'm not too sure.
What do you say to a suggestion that it's a failure of leadership from you to engage in that sort of text exchange with Constable Rolfe about being prepared to turn his camera to face the other way and act up for the film? Do you accept that?
A failure in leadership?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Might give him the impression, mightn't it, that it was okay to do that, to act up for the film?
Well, I probably should have said, I don't know what I thought of the text when I received the text. I would have been clear then, I imagine. I don't know what it's talking about now.
Well, what you should have said to him.
But it was a response, wasn't it, to your text? So you've texted Constable Rolfe about losing your shit.
Correct.
So it seems to suggest that he has done something with his body-worn video or is prepared to do something with his body-worn video to protect you.
I don't know. It didn't make sense turning your camera aside if... I don't know. I really don't know.
Did you have any conversation with Constable Rolfe where he indicated that there was a bit of pushback from him in wearing his body-worn video footage? Wearing his body-worn camera?
Pushback?
Yes.
No.
That he was reluctant to do it in any way?
No.
His answer also suggests that you have done the same thing for him. Have you ever made decisions about your body-worn video to protect Constable Rolfe when Constable Rolfe is doing something that would otherwise potentially be inappropriate?
I don't believe so, no, Your Honour. I would be more positive and say, no, I haven't.
But you do warn people, for example, your colleagues when you're turning your video on so that, for example, someone doesn't say something inappropriate.
I have done that, yep.
So you're trying to manipulate what is happening by the use or the failure to use body-worn video.
Correct, in that I just don't want someone to come and start talking inappropriately and get recorded. Sometimes I'll say it to the ambos, I'll just tell them that the camera's on. If we're out and about and the St John's are there, same thing, just to prepare people.
In that text exchange with Constable Rolfe, you say, sorry about the stress caused by losing my shit the other night. What was the stress you caused when you lost your shit?
I don't know.
Well, before you thought it might have been at the trucking yard where you ran after someone and tackled them and crash them into a shed.
But I don't know what the stress was or...
Is Your Honour happy for me to continue?
Matter for you, we can go a little longer or we can break, whichever you prefer.
I'm happy to continue and try and finish, Your Honour.
Sure.
I've got about another half an hour though, so if that tips us over, I'm happy to start tomorrow. Excuse me, Your Honour, I think other people might have commitments.
Well, Mr. Miranda and I actually have a perfect video conference, so that will embarrass us if we don't put another half an hour.
All right, we'll adjourn now. Officer, there are obviously some other people at the bar table who will also have questions for you, so I'm sorry that we're going to require you to come back tomorrow morning as well at 9:30.
Thank you.
Stand. The Coronial Court now stands adjourned.
Yeah,